Hello, I'm Caleb Havanka, and welcome to Morningstar Journal News Weekly Roundup, where we discuss the top 5 news articles of the week. Number 5, Biden slammed for blocking black woman judge's nomination. While serving in the Senate, Mr. Biden filibustered the nomination of Janice Rogers Brown for the U.S. Court of Appeals for the District of Columbia. Mr. Biden voted in 2003 and 2005 to block efforts by Senate Republicans to confirm Judge Brown. Fox News host Dana Perino, who served in the Bush White House, asked, quote, "If Democrats really wanted to see a black woman elevated to the Supreme Court, why did they block Janice Rogers Brown back during the Bush administration?" End quote. Well, Dana, that is a great question. Why did they block Judge Brown? And it's because, again, they weren't the ones who nominated her. So therefore, they weren't the ones that were going to get the glory. You know, this is politics at its finest, where really hypocrisy is the currency. Number 4, Kremlin spokesman says Russia will not use nuclear weapons on Ukraine. Kremlin spokesman Dmitry Peskov told PBS, quote, "No one is thinking about using a nuclear weapon," end quote, and that the Ukrainian conflict has nothing to do with any threat to Russia's existence. Peskov clarified, quote, "We have a security concept that very clearly states that only when there is a threat for existence of the state in our country, we will actually use nuclear weapons," end quote. Peskov said Putin's comments about Russia's nuclear capability was, quote, "warning different states not to interfere in the affairs between Ukraine and Russia," end quote. Now, all I can say for this one is I hope this is true. I hope nuclear weapons are off the table. And in my opinion, the best way to ensure this, that this does not become a nuclear war is for the West, for America, for NATO to stay out of the conflict, militarily speaking. Number 3, DeSantis signs parental notification bill into law. Florida Governor Ron DeSantis has signed into law the state's parental rights in education legislation, a bill banning classroom discussions of gender identity and sexual orientation for little children. DeSantis called out leftist politicians and corporate media outlets who support sexualizing kids in kindergarten and injecting woke gender ideology into second grade classrooms. The bill has been labeled as "Don't Say Gay," but nowhere in the legislation is the word gay even mentioned. But the word parent, however, is mentioned 32 times. This is one of my favorites because Ron DeSantis is doing everything a righteous leader is doing. He's been signing off on a lot of great bills lately, and he knows the role of government. He knows its limits, and he knows that children are off limits. Children belong to the parents. And I think this legislation only applies for kindergarten to third grade students, but I don't think that's far enough. I think it should go all the way to 12th grade because discussions on gender identity and sexual orientation shouldn't even be discussed at all in the public school, in my opinion. I think those discussions should be reserved solely within the home. Number 2, California lawmakers push to become an abortion sanctuary state. California state senators Nancy Skinner and Ana Caballero introduced Senate Bill 1142, which, if passed into law, will establish a public-private fund that will provide grant money for out-of-state women who seek abortion services. Skinner said, quote, "With SB 1142, California sends a clear message to the rest of the nation. We are fully committed to ensuring that California women and those who may seek refuge here have access to all reproductive services, including abortion," end quote. Talk about calling evil good. That is absolutely disgusting. Government officials, their primary job is to protect life. And these politicians are doing the exact opposite by pushing for laws like this. These politicians will have to answer for the evil they allow and for the evil they promote. And finally, number 1, scientists are developing contagious vaccines. According to the National Geographic, scientists are attempting to develop contagious vaccines that would spread from the vaccinated to the unvaccinated. Scientists believe that creating a contagious vaccine could help prevent pandemics started by zoonotic diseases, which are infectious diseases that are naturally transmissible from animals to humans. However, Jonas Sandbrink, a biosecurity researcher at the University of Oxford's Future of Humanity Institute, said, quote, "Once you set something engineered and self-transmissible out into nature, you don't know what happens to it and where it will go," end quote. So, all these zombie and bio-apocalyptic movies that we've seen growing up and that are coming out, that's what's going to happen if these scientists continue and try to play God. I mean, God told us to subdue the earth, not to tamper with viruses and diseases and microbial organisms. That is well beyond our scope of authority. And with us trying to mess with things beyond our authority could have devastating and severe consequences for humankind. Well, that will wrap up our weekly news roundup. I hope you all enjoyed. If you wish to stay informed on current events, you can check out our website at morningstarjournal.com. You can follow us on Facebook, Instagram, Getter, and Telegram at Morningstar Journal News. And you can subscribe to our YouTube channel and our Rumble page, again, at Morningstar Journal News. Thank you all for watching, and stay tuned for next week's News Roundup.